Yes, baby. I am bringing Reality with the King on tour, and I'm stopping in DC on Mother's Day. Thank you to all the mothers who have watched my shows throughout my entire career. I want to celebrate with you. I am throwing a live Mother's Day brunch at 3 o'clock in DC at the Howard Theater with the ladies baby of Love and Marriage DC. Ashley Silva, Irena Tyler, Joy Carter. So make sure to get your tickets so we can party and listen. This will be the mother of all parties. Hey, Raindrops. Yes, tonight's episode of part 3, the conclusion of the trilogy of Love and Marriage DC. Let me tell y'all something. Before I introduce my beautiful, wonderful guest, the resident Love and Marriage correspondent, I have to say this. This 3-part reunion was everything. So much so, my family members who'd be like, Carlos, we know what you do, whatever. They called me. Somebody who works for me even said, yo, part 2 was everything, part 3. And then I had my meet and greet for my live show, Dustin, with Tamar Braxton this past Monday.
The
And
sold out show.
thank you, my sold out show. Which, by the way, if y'all are in DC on Mother's Day, come to DC to see Irena, Ashley, and Joy at the Howard Theater. Tickets on sale. Link in my bio, or go to my website. Okay. But Dustin, how crazy was part 3 reunion? And yes, y'all give it up for the beautiful Dustin Ross.
You're too kind. You're too kind. Part 3 was incredible, and there's no other way I can describe it than it being the shit. Part 3 was the shit. I feel like we got down to the bottom of some things that we needed to get down to the bottom of. And I really just want to give it up for Joy, because Joy literally showed out. Joy ran that reunion stage for part 3. So shout out to Joy. She did. She did. She delivered. And she was very clear, very concise, very succinct. Um nothing was exhausting. She just literally said it how she meant it. And we saw some vulnerability from her that we did not get to see in the season. In fact, I thought it was poetic that when she finally was being vulnerable, it was unaired footage. So we never saw.
Okay. You know what? One thing about our recaps, first of all, Dustin is so damn funny and shady. One thing about our recap, Dustin, unlike others, we don't go in chronological order. We go all over the place. And
Yeah.
look, that's what we're going to do. So the thing for me is this. Because, people love to say, Carlos protects this person.
Oh
Carlos
my
protects
God.
that person. So when we learned that after the season wrap, so let me tell you how it works. After you wrap a season of a show, you do pickup interviews in the confessionals. So your confessionals are replaying what happened a week ago, a month ago, 4 months ago, right? But we always ask you, like, so what's happening to you right now? So when I saw that vulnerable moment of Joy, I was like, now look, this whole season, we didn't get none of this. And it was so, I think it's beautiful when people are vulnerable, right? And I thought Joy was so beautiful displaying that level of vulnerability. And I'm like,
Yes.
we gotta show this, because a lot of people, like Dustin, think Joy is like, you know? So I wanted the world to see that side of Joy, and to learn that her and Clifton's marriage isn't perfect. No marriage is perfect. So it was
Right.
intentional to show that. And Joy had no idea, nor Clifton, clearly. So when you saw that moment, were you gagging at how honest and vulnerable she was about what was going on between her and Clifton?
I was blown away, Carlos, and that it was such a real, raw, just emotional moment, and that was authentic. That was some reality TV. That's what that was. And her being willing to participate in that way, watching her mind work, you could see her thoughts processing as she was answering that question in real time from that confessional chair. And I think that that was really, really brave of her. And so we just have to give her credit where that's concerned. That was very, very brave and courageous of Joy, you know. And she was talking about some things that are very, very personal, feeling as if you're shouldering the responsibility of certain situations and certain emotional battles alone as a married person. I'm sure has to be a devastatingly lonely feeling. And so for her to be moved to speak on it when Joy has proven herself to be um, a private person, you know, for lack of a different way of saying that, Joy's been private notoriously in her time on this show. And so for her to be so open and really say how she was feeling in that moment, I think she deserves all the kudos in the world. And she handled it with grace on that stage when it was discussed. I think she displayed a compassion toward Clifton that we didn't necessarily see coming from him toward her during the season or on the reunion stage. In fact, you had to prod him and poke him to get him to speak on things. You said, and Clifton, I would love to hear from you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you had to say that and really guide him through sort of speaking on the Carmen issue. So even with less than a big effort from him, you know, to support her, she still was graceful and kind and patting his leg and saying, no, babe, it's not blame and no. And she just handled it in a way that I really have nothing but respect for. So I thought that that was incredibly brave of her. And I would have loved to see Clifton. I mean, I don't know how do we need to make a neon sign that said, you know, now's the time to say what's right, Clifton. Like what I don't understand what wasn't clicking for him in that moment. Hey, I need to take the lead here, okay, and kind of steer this ship instead of letting my wife do all this work when she's literally saying nobody on stage has seen that clip from her. So
Yeah.
they all took it in the first, right there in that moment together. I think there was a huge missed opportunity on his behalf. Maybe the nerves got to him. I don't know what it was, but I wish we could have seen him do something in that moment.
Yeah, no, and you saw me trying to get it out of him too, because the thing is this. I've been doing love and marriage for 6, 7 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I'm learning, because obviously
Mm-hmm.
I'm not married and I'm not a woman, despite what you write on Twitter, people, I'm a man. I'm teased. I'm having fun with y'all tonight. So, what I'm learning about the dynamic of heterosexual
Mm-hmm.
relationships and marriages, men oftentimes, husbands oftentimes get defensive in terms of like, you trying to blame me?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. And that's why I kept saying to him, I don't think she's blaming you. And she said, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, she kind of coddled him like, before you go ham and cheese,
Mm-hmm. Go off the
like,
rails.
yeah, I'm not blaming you. I know that sometimes two things happen. It's hard for a wife to express herself to her husband because she doesn't want to have an argument.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for husbands to hear their wives because all he hears are complaints.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I was trying to guide them, especially him, Clifton, to just listen to her. She's not blaming you. And at the end of the day, I'm going to give you credit. You didn't know. And I strongly believe
Mm-hmm.
in any relationship, it's important to express yourself because you can't demand something from your partner if they don't know what it is. They're not body language experts. They're not Miss Cleo or in this case Terry. They they're not an intuitive healer. So
Right.
you need to be able to say, this is how I feel. But I know for a fact that a lot of marriages operate that way. And I gave Joy, like you are doing now, so much credit for displaying
Yes.
that honesty. Because, first of all, she had no idea we were showing it. So she could
Yeah.
have easily been like, you motherfuckers try.
Mm-hmm.
Bitch, are you?
Mm-hmm.
But she said, let's go. And I give her
Yeah.
props in that regard too.
For sure. I feel Clifton disappointed me. I'm just gonna be
Oh,
honest.
really? Tell
Today.
me
He
why.
disappointed me. I feel like as the man in that with the relationship dynamics that are present in their circumstance, right? He's the leader of that relationship. You're the husband. You're the head of that house. You have to assume the position and be the lead. And a lot of being an effective leader involves humility and accountability, right? And that's how you take the lead sometimes. And so in on that reunion stage, I just feel like there was a perfect opportunity for him to completely abandon being defensive, right? And just take the lead and say, I hear you and I'm sorry that it didn't work like that. And Carmen, you know that was wrong. You know that what you said and did, the way you switched up on Joy was wrong. And I didn't appreciate that. He should have just been direct and told her that. Even when he played that game of words with you, and when he said, yeah, I didn't like, I wouldn't know right church words. I wouldn't know right there. No, cool. No, it wasn't cool church words. You were like, so was it wrong? Yeah, wrong. Yeah, wrong. Yeah, wrong. Went wrong. Yeah. I said it. He was being defensive with you, but I thought you were handling those speed bumps so professionally. Just, oh, okay, just wanted to clear it up. Boom, moving it along so that he would arrive to the conclusion, which we all were at that point. You know what I mean? I just feel like Clifton could have really showed up and showed out in that stage, in that reunion stage. And I love how Joy, here's the difference. Joy had some really tough conversations on that stage, and she didn't stand up and get ready to slap anybody, not one time. Clifton had one brief, probably 20-second interaction or 20-second exchange with Quick, and then they up on their feet getting ready to fight. There's a difference in maturity there when it comes to conflict resolution. I don't think he's a bad guy, and I don't think that he's a bad husband. I just think there's a huge opportunity there for him to grow when it comes to the way that he leads his wife, which is what she was blatantly asking for on that reunion stage, and which she identified it as a need. She said, I'm not blaming you, it was just a need. That's pretty clear. And I think that you could have taken that and used that as your compass as you made your decisions on that reunion stage about when to chime in, what to bring up, what to clear up. There was just no leadership shown on his behalf. And that was disappointing for me as a viewer when we're finally cooking over here with gas with Joy. We finally have her actively engaged, and you are neglecting these opportunities to take the lead. That was disappointing for me.
Were you disappointed when Yusha told Winter to get her broomstick?
Well, no, because at that point, Yusha was just being the character Yusha. We don't know Yusha. We don't know anything about him. We just know that he was up there hanging out with Winter. They were together for 4 months. They never had sex. That was just, a blip in
Can you
both of
date
their
somebody
lives.
for 4 months without having sex with them, Dustin?
Nah, no. I love having sex. You know what I'm saying? And I want to have
You
as much
do?
of it. Yes, I love it. It's
Every
the
day or
best.
every
The
week?
best part of being an adult depends on my time. Now I'm a busy man, so I don't have time to be just laying up all day every day. But however, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, sex is a privilege, and it's one of the best rites of passage into adulthood. And so I don't understand Yusha. And Winter is a beautiful woman. She's so articulate, and Winter has sex appeal. Yusha was
But
an
Winter
attractive
wanted
man.
to, it was Winter's decision to
Hmm.
be abstinent.
So I think that there was something there that Yusha may not have doing something. It just was off, and I don't think that necessarily, excuse me, is a bad thing on Yusha's behalf. They just, they was talking. I don't think they were dating. The stages, Carlos. They was just talking. You
What
know what
are
I'm
the
saying?
stages, Dustin? I don't know. What are the
Well,
stages?
the stages. You meet somebody, you talking,
Okay.
right?
Okay,
Then
so
you kicking
talking.
it. Yeah, you're talking. Then you're kicking it, aka dating. Then you go together. You know what I'm saying? That's the stages. So they was just talking. They had met, exchanged numbers, thought each other was cool. The timing I think lined up perfectly, which is why I was so happy that you highlighted that parallel there when you said, "Well, Winter, maybe you on this show called Love and Marriage. You ain't got no damn body, so maybe you should, too. Maybe what did Bill Withers say? It ain't too bad that you're using me because I show him using you. Okay. So
Baby, let's be
maybe
clear.
that's what use me to use me up. Maybe that's what was going on.
Use me up. Listen, we're
So
all grown here. So if we're both, listen, if we have the same agenda, then so be it. And that's why, listen, my job is to ask the questions on behalf of the audience. Because
that's
listen, in
right.
my real life,
Yeah.
but I also know that, it's a privileged position to be in this seat that I'm in, right?
Hmm.
So I always want to make sure that the person at home is, how we talk to the cameras, to the TV.
Yeah.
Bro, did you do? You used to Bro, are you kidding me? So I have to be that person for the audience. So when it came to Yusha and Winter, that's why the question was, in my Aretha Franklin voice, who's zooming who?
Who's zooming who?
You know what I'm saying? Like, are one of y'all getting something out of each other? Because what you said is true. Y'all ain't banging, and apparently, you guys were connecting in the
Mm-hmm.
chemistry department, although y'all met each other's kids or family, whatever the case was on his side. We shown him meeting her children. So that's why I was like, I was so perplexed by it because I'm not, listen, everyone is different, right? I'm not dating anybody for 4 months. And if we're not connecting on certain levels, then I'm gonna get out of the relationship.
There
And
ain't no
the camera,
relationship.
right, or in this case, a situationship. The
Yeah, at best.
convenience, the
Mm-hmm.
convenience ship, right? So that's why a lot of people, even on Twitter, were like, they felt like they both were getting something out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why for me, the one thing that I think should have been a discussion, right? Because I'm a perfectionist. I'm like, oh, I should have asked that question.
Mm.
I'm curious to know now that it aired, how does Winter feel knowing that the Duckins set you up with somebody who they think is an opportunist?
That's
Like
something that
you
should
are,
have, yeah.
you know what I'm
You can
saying?
dig deeper there to see what that really means about the relationship between Winter and the Duncans, right? Who she's been overwhelmingly positive about on the show and
Yeah.
spoke highly of and even protected, since that's the buzzword of the day, right? She's protected
Ah.
them by making sure that Black had an opportunity to share his side of the story, been vocally supportive, you know what I mean? And then they kind of was like, well, here you go, girl, here go Yusha. And we know that he's a user, but we're gonna see what happens. I don't know. But I also think, if I'm being honest, I think we squeezed all the juice out of that lemon, the
I
winner and
suppose.
Yusha. Yeah, we squeezed it, squeezed it. I don't think there's anything left. You understand what I'm saying? Like that is a done deal. I was so happy to see you usher Yusha off of that stage, especially once he started pulling up them zingers out of his pocket. I'll take your broom. Again, there's just an opportunity there for you to handle your business a certain way. These words and phrases and catchy one-liners, as opposed to direct communication, that just don't work for me. He could have said, you know what, Winter, damn, I was really into you and I was excited to get to know you. I hate the way you're treating me today. Why are you being so damn mean to me today? I didn't want to use you. I just was trying to promote my businesses. He just was playing coy and leaving a lot of gray areas and shit. And it just didn't land well with the viewers to me. So I was glad when he got on down off the stage, personally.
Well, what's funny is a lot of people in the comments, child, they're like, you should call me.
Yeah. They ain't
A
like
lot
him
of the
to
women are
her.
like, you know,
Mhm. They said he can put his socks in their bag. Okay.
is that what we're calling it now? Socks?
Socks in the bag. Yes. That's what
You,
we calling it.
oh, you know how like you're in college and you put the sock on the door to
To
let your
send a
roommate
signal.
know
That's
I'm being.
right. Well, Winter said he wasn't putting them socks in her bag. And now it's a lot of people watching that show who said, you know what, you can give me the 12 pack of Nike tube socks,
Oh,
the
the
pump
12
one.
pack.
Yes, they want every
You
sock
should got
he
a
got
12
in the
pack.
drawer. They said they want everyone he has. Okay. So that's somebody for every damn body, and they just
That
not
is
for each
true.
other. They just not for each other.
Now
So
that is true. That is true. Okay, all right. So, one of the biggest moments tonight was a conversation of whether or not Sharella was a side chick.
yeah.
And well, a lot of people identified before we get into the details of it.
Mm-hmm.
No one called her a side chick.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't call her one. Joy didn't call her one. So a lot of people felt like, well, why was Sharella being so defensive? So in tonight's reunion, one thing about Sharella, who's beautiful, who has a
Mm-hmm.
good personality, she's very adamant about clearing the air, and that's why we have a reunion. And I love Black.
Yeah.
You know, you could tell Black just he seemed like such a nice guy. And for me, I wanted to really because Black wasn't as visible this season as
Hmm.
his wife was. So I really wanted to hear more from him and get his side of the story because Joy was trying to hear him at the couple trip. So I
Yeah.
wanted him to respectfully have the floor. So the audience noticed tonight that Sherelle kept interrupting because and I want to get your thoughts. They felt that she was interrupting him because she wanted to be able to not incriminate the situation. Because the thing that we noticed was this. At first, it was I complimented her. Then it was career day. And a lot of people were confused, like, well, which one was it? Was it a compliment on your fitness journey? Or was I getting booked like a TED Talk like Dustin did recently? Was it a TED Talk booking? Was it a career day bulletin that we see on the poles on the streets of Georgetown? What
Hmm.
was it? But what are your
Hmm.
thoughts about that whole situation before I go more specific about other stuff?
This is not rocket science. I mean, it's very clear what happened. He liked what he saw. He was familiar with Sherelle before he even spoke to her. They wound up wherever they were, where he gave her the ride home. He was still in a relationship. Sherelle told him, "Look, you cool, but I'm not about to be caught up in none of that drama. Hit me after you figure everything out." And they remained in touch and cordial, lighthearted conversation that he initiated, giving her the compliments that he said he was giving her. And as time went on and he got far enough away from Joy's best friend as far as their relationship was concerned, he picked right up with Sherelle and they kept on moving. That timeline was very unclear about there being a year later that he started texting her about career day and then she talked and all that other shit. No one even cares except for Joy and her best friend. We was introduced to Sherelle and Black together. I know that there was a
Yeah.
large proposal and a lot of local conversations about them. So we know them together. We didn't even know about Joy's best friend. We still don't even know her name. We calling her Joy's best friend. So I think that's a really personal matter that really only, is of importance to those people involved. And everybody was kind of ready to move on, including Sherelle. I think that she was tired of being framed as somebody who was, she talks about sex a lot and she's really, upfront and has a loud personality. I think that she didn't want that aligned with sleeping with somebody's man. You know what I mean? It makes it puts a negative tone on her free spiritedness. And I could see why she wouldn't necessarily want that label attached to her, especially when we all know how that works. They met while he was breaking off with old girl. She knew about what was
Little
going
overlap
on.
situation. It
Yeah,
happened.
Sharella was like, yo, you figure that out and then call me. And she didn't tell him not to call her. She just told him probably, allegedly figure that out and then we'll get right together when you do. It was that happens all the time. We all know it.
But
And
why could what you articulated just now makes so much sense to me. And
mm-hmm.
that's why I said tonight to Sherelle, think you were a side chick.
No.
I don't think she was, but you said it better than I did. In the sense of you knew, let's have a real conversation because I'm tired of
Yeah.
people not keeping it a buck.
Yes.
And you know why I know everybody on that stage agree with me? Everybody was quiet.
That's right.
No
That's
one
right.
chimed in and said, nah, Los,
Mm-mm.
uh, everybody knew ain't no man hitting up a woman about her fitness journey, a career day, and like I said, the stock market, while he's in a relationship because he wants to like do business. And that's
No,
fine. But guess what? That doesn't make Sharella a bad person. And in a
whatsoever.
perfect world, I think she should have said what you said in the sense of he did reach out to me while he was in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I know when she said it happens all the time, that's why I said it doesn't make it right. She
Mm-hmm.
should have said, he did reach out to me, and I made sure that
Mm-hmm.
I, as a woman, was not engaging on that level because the optics look weird because no man is reaching out to a woman to go to brunch,
That's
right?
simple. And y'all sitting up here married. Okay, so that means that y'all are attracted to each other. You always have been. The beginnings of your connection just were what they were. He was attracted to you. You were open to the communication, but I do not believe that Sherelle was a side chick whatsoever.
at
I do
all.
not believe that.
Me
I
neither.
think that the overlap happened just as we kind of just figured it out. I think
And
that's
I
what
think that's the thing about is this, and that's the reason why I try to help folks out, child. Like
happened.
the audience wants the truth,
Yeah.
regardless if it's messy. They're like, I just want the truth so that
We'll
they can
respect
move on.
that. We'll respect the messy truth as if it's told. We'll respect that before we respect somebody skirting around and dancing around and using wordplay and all that bullshit that's frustrating for the viewers. We respect people that stand in it. That's why Mia's doing so well over on Potomac. Because even though she lie every single day, Mia was real with that shit between her and her husband, and it endeared the viewers. So that's where your that's where your value is. That's where the buy-in is between the viewer and the talent. So but again, I do not believe that this side chick conversation even needs to move forward anymore. Sherelle was not
No,
a side chick. And even if
Sherelle
she
was not a side
was,
chick at
to be
all.
honest with you, they happily married, 2 children later, doing their damn thing. So it really don't even matter at this point.
No, at all, at all. And we're both saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But that's why I thought it was funny because when I said no man with married or not, I looked at the best part about that. You looked at Ashley, Winter, Irena, and Joy. They both sat there like,
Same page, okay? In
let
the
let Quick, Jamie, Clifton, or any man text another woman
Yep,
watching me
yep,
lamenting her about her fitness journey
yep.
is an
Well,
issue.
and you see that that was proven by Jamie and Arena, their beautiful marriage and family. They said was challenged by some sort of communication like that
On
on both
Facebook.
parts, right? Between
Uh-huh.
her and someone and him with someone. So that is something that can create a real issue in relationships. And that's why I think that you saw all three of those women sitting up there like, I'll be damned. Okay. While she was saying that. So I don't know.
Have you ever text somebody while you were in a relationship, Dustin?
Yeah. And
Are
it
you a
caused
cheater?
problems. Nah, but it caused problems. And sometimes when you have real strong relationships that kind of withstand, we don't know what that's like. Yeah, you have people in your life that you used to kick it with or whatever that you check in with from time to time, and y'all respect each other's boundaries, but you are checking in, and that can definitely be deemed inappropriate, and it can be hurtful to your partner on the other end if they see this communication that you're not honest about. And I definitely wasn't honest about it, and it did rear its head to cause some problems. Yeah. I still talk about the motherfucker to this day. No, just
You're such an Aries man. I can't take
hell
away
yeah.
Dustin.
I mean, we've all done that. It's some people, I'm just gonna check on them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've done it. We've all listen.
Everybody, you done it.
See, we're all this is what I really, and I'm glad you brought up Mia Thornton. Mia's like, maybe I married him for his money. I don't know. Shit, perhaps. Or I don't know who the father was at the time, but whatever. Or
Yeah.
I've cheated. It is what it is. Fine. We're grown. And that's
Mhm.
why I love doing reality. And I always tell my stars, if you are honest, I promise you, the audience would be like, "She, I ain't mad at you, bitch.
It
Like,
is what it is if you
real."
own it, especially when you you can be honest and that's cool. But if you've done something that's been harmful to somebody, once you're honest about it, there needs to be some semblance of accountability, right? You got to take responsibility for it. And I think that that combo is what will endear you to the viewers, right? Because some people are just honest just for the hell of it. And there is no sense of accountability or sense of change. There's no symbol of change behavior, and that's when it's kind of like, okay, come on, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Martell. Okay, people like him who are honest about the things that they've done. Well, is he honest about what he's done? We don't know, but that he doesn't show any sign of, there's no pivot there when it comes to like new behavior. He's doing the same shit with new people over and over again on these shows. So that is the difference in being honest about what you're doing, but you have to show some sort of accountability on the other side. There has to be like the two. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Speaking of honesty, um, Carmen.
I don't even. Okay, first of all, once again, no claps,
Go,
no
no, go ahead, go.
claps, no claps, no claps. She just walked out on that stage. I thought that that was indicative of what was to come. Okay, that was foreshadowing like a motherfucker. Because there's no applause for Carmen. There's none. What I will give Carmen.
Hi, Carmen. No claps. Wait. Okay, Carmen,
mm,
girl.
there's no claps for Carmen because I don't feel like Carmen showed. I will give Carmen credit for standing in what she said about Joy, because she did stand in it on the stage. She never wavered in her declaration that they are not friends. Okay. I just think that the song and dance we had to endure to get there was pointless and really showed some things. There was a lack of compassion toward from Carmen to Joy, which I guess is in alignment with her declaration that she really don't fuck with Joy like that. The secret was out at that point. I'm not your friend. I'm friends with Clifton, and that's why I'm here. And I thought that that was just a little cruel. And I thought it lacked compassion. And that's why Joy is more upset. Joy is more mad at Carmen than she is anybody on that stage. Joy is more mad at Carmen than she was at Ashley. All that
Yeah.
silly shit they're arguing over. Carmen and Joy, that's a real beef, because Joy is a person who is not. Joy's not really a girl's girl like that. You know what I'm saying? Joy is guarded and she is selective about who she allows in her space. And I think that that was a wild card friendship for her. I think all the red flags were there. The way that they met was questionable at best. Her intention on being honorable to the integrity of their marriage as a friend of her husband was questionable. I think all of that was there, but Joy decided to be friends with her in spite of. She said, "I love you, Carmen," on that stage. Joy
Yeah.
was hurt. She took Carmen's side at the when they was at that clothing store with the amazing Technicolor dream coats that they had Ashley had Joy trying on. She took Carmen's side in that moment and she defended their friendship. She said that was her best friend and she meant that. And I think that Carmen being so callous, having what seemed like a really nasty attitude and disposition towards Joy on that stage, I think that that was emotionally jarring for Joy and that really rattled her cage. And I did not see until literally the very end of her time on stage, her even acknowledge Joy's feelings, until she said, "I do want to say this one thing. You said you weren't valued. I never wanted you to feel not valued. So I apologize for making you feel like that." And even that was a cold, backhanded, less than personable and personal apology. Carmen don't fuck with Joy. I think she had grown tired of putting on the act of pretending to be friends with Joy and pretending to give a damn.
This is what it was for me. I think Joy was surprised to learn that Carmen only saw it for Clifton in terms of their
Yep.
friendship. And I think Joy believed that they were real, that they all three were friends,
Yep.
right? And I think Joy was hurt by the realization that, oh, so you didn't fuck with me like that. You fucked with me because by proxy, my husband is your boy. And that hurt Joy, which is why the thing with Joy that I'm learning about her more, she's guarded for a reason because she doesn't want to get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for her to immediately give her heart to somebody or show some relaxation when she meets people. Joy isn't, you know how like for example, a good example would be someone like Kimmy on Huntsville.
Yeah.
Like you meet Kimmy like, yo, what's up? You good? Because Kimmy's so like just like that girl to point
Yeah. Yep.
she's warm in that sense. Joy is very much like, even with me, when I first met Clifton and Joy, it was via Zoom, and they gave me nothing.
Mhm.
Hey, and listen, I'll be honest. Low key, I was like,
Mhm.
y'all ain't happy to meet me? Okay.
Mhm.
I said,
Mhm.
hi. What's up?
I can see that. I can see
Yeah,
that.
and
I
it
can
took
see
it took
that.
a minute,
For them
and by
being
a minute,
comfortable, you know.
months for them. But now, as of today, Clifton and Joy, they adore me, and I
Yeah,
adore them.
for
But they're
sure.
the most friendly because they're guarded. Joy is really guarded. So Carmen's um honesty, because it's her honesty, we
Hmm.
appreciate that. It offended Joy, which is why she was sort of like trying to elbow Clifton, like, now
Hmm.
you see why I had an issue.
Hmm.
And when she said, like, I wanted my husband
Hmm.
to protect me and have my back against her.
Yep.
That was a big revelation for me.
Well, if you really think about it, Carlos, it makes perfect sense because in order for a friendship with those dynamics to function appropriately and to function effectively, the husband has to always be aware of the effort and the grace that the wife is giving him and the friend by allowing the friendship to take place in the first place. The
Mhm.
husband also has to be aware that in order for the wife to give that grace to them, she needs to feel that if she ever was uncomfortable about anything, the husband would take her side and it would be cleaned up immediately. Joy didn't have that component or that element in the friendship. And we
Mhm.
watched it fizzle out. And I think that's because Carmen's intentions were not to be friends with Joy. I don't necessarily think Carmen was trying to have sex with Clifton or do anything like that. But I just think that Carmen wanted the type of friendship where she could have take liberties like stroking Clifton's beard and that be it without any interference from the wife. And the only way she felt like she could attain that was by including the wife in their time together and including the wife to a point where she allowed them to spend time alone together. Because we know that they've talked often this season about how Clifton and Carmen had attended events together without Joy, you know, and been a duo essentially as working adults. And there's nothing wrong with people. We're grown, so people of the opposite sex or same sex, depending on the dynamics of the relationship, can have platonic
Yeah.
engagement with one another. It's fine. You know what I mean? But when you're doing things like saying, I can't stand her, your wife, I'm only her friend to be your friend. When you're doing things like rubbing his beard on camera and never addressing it, right? When you're doing things like laying in the bed on vacations and allowing him to make videos that are petty and you know, intended to kind of sting someone else, you're contributing to that narrative that you're fighting so hard against. When she said that in that threesome, the optics of that where that Clifton was a player, Joy was the victim and she was the hoe. You know, when she illustrated that, I don't think she really even felt intimidated enough by it to just realize that she was contributing to that visual as well by some of her behavior.
Mhm.
So I felt like Carmen was very callous and less than compassionate on the reunion stage, and I was disappointed to see that because I feel like she's a formidable player, as I've said previously on this show,
Mhm.
amongst an ensemble cast like this. I think
Mhm.
she's articulate. Like the way that she delivers her opinions. And I don't think she's scared of anyone on that stage. So there are a lot of things that will work for her. But when you show up cold like that and without regard to someone else's emotion who literally you did wrong, you know what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
wasn't like her behavior was prompted by anything from Joy. She just announced to everyone there that she don't fuck with them like that. That was kind of, you know, it seemed a little imbalanced to me. So it was tough to see her lack compassion on the reunion stage.
Was it tough to see Irena and Carmen read each other for damn filth?
No, because I think best supporting character to the episode 3, that statue sure goes to Arena. Because when I tell you Arena had Carmen on the ropes of that ring, on the ropes, and was not letting off of her. So much so that when points were being made, Arena gave us a silent film doing things like this and laughing and shit. You know, I'm telling you, she was on Carmen's ass.
Not Charlie Chaplin, child.
all day. The mind, baby. She literally was on Carmen's ass, and that's just a testament to the type of friend Raina is. She's been defending or Ashley. She's defended Carmen. She defends her, or not Carmen. She defended Joy. She defends her friends. I think she's a great friend in that way. And I don't think she likes some of the shit that she saw Carmen doing. And she is older than them, and she felt compelled to speak up. And I love that about Raina. I also shout out to Ashley because even though I feel like Ashley was fair in this third part. She did not interject in conversations where she had a clear bias. She was chill and very adult. So I think the ladies really did their thing this episode.
No, I do too. I do too. My favorite moment. Well, first of all, I didn't know Irena had it in her to read that well, right?
Mhm.
And you know me, listen, I love a ping pong match. I
Yeah,
love a fair match.
yeah.
It's
Mhm.
pay-per-view, bitch. Let's go.
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
when she said, you see my man. I never see your man. Oh, so you blind now? I never see your man. You're stand-in. I said, bitch, not stand-in. Um, and then your rent a man. I said, not rent a center. And then to see Ashley laugh.
And to see you talk about some, come on, friends. Yeah. Catching the fact that they still have some sort of camaraderie. And that's because the shit that they're arguing over is just not that serious at
It ain't to me. Oh my God. It's not that.
It's
I
not.
thought it was so, but I agree with you. Ashley had a great reunion because she allowed herself to be present in this part because she didn't chime in to the Duncan situation. She didn't chime in to the Petties and Carmen. She didn't chime in with Winter and Yusha. She sat there was like, this is good TV. So
Hell yeah.
when she laughed at Irena's joke, that to me, honestly, all jokes aside, that was my favorite part of tonight's reunion because we all have a friend that we may have an issue with that, like she said, when they got one, bitch,
she got one.
You know, I'll fuck with you tomorrow.
But hey, okay. And I love that it indicates a real relationship amongst people, right? It indicates an authentic connection that can grow beyond a mishap, a misunderstanding, whatever. So I'm not invalidating any of their feelings. I just would like to see resolution between the Tylers and the Silvers at some point. I would like to see that.
I would too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's what you said. I just hope that 2-second glimmer was indicative of this is what I want to see from them. I desire to see a one-on-one with no one around. They're trapped in a room together, and they get to address it with no husbands around, no friends around. There's no time limit. It's just literally those two in a room talking about it and getting it out. I would love to see a conversation with them eventually like that.
Well, we have a great opportunity next season for those sort of sit downs that sort of drive and create the story as it moves along. I feel like there's opportunity there for that resolution, and I would love to see it and see the process of them getting back to that, that place with each other. I would like to see that. And you're right. Again, I just think that there's something there. Even Jamie, we see all the stuff that's going on online. We're not talking about that. We're talking about what's happening on the show. And we see that when the reunion closed, Jamie said, I know Ashley Madden ain't got nothing but love for my cast. That's there. The thread and the tie exists. We just have to highlight it. Sometimes you got to dig deep to find it, and that's okay. That shit happens. But I think that if we really, if we dig that up and peel back some of those layers there, it can happen. And a great place to start is a sit down with Irena and Ashley. Also, a great place to start is your DC show. When they're sitting there and they are looking at each other eye to eye, I think that you can't, when you have a history with someone and when you have that sort of connection still, you're able to have a mutual respect for each other. something can grow from that or be grown from that. So it just takes them being in the same space and not having blow up, explosive conflicts with one another and being able to make progress. And I think
Yeah,
that's a great place to start. So I love that idea and I look forward to seeing it.
I do too. No, I do too. So I want to say this to the Love and Marriage DC cast, crew, and fans. This season, honestly, was incredible. It was an incredible season. Um, Thank you all for tuning in to the show after a long hiatus, which has showed me that you guys love the show. And
Absolutely.
you guys showed up in droves. The audience increased this season. Um, it was such a fantastic season. And I will give it to my entire cast for bringing everything in their muscle to this season. Listen, my DC cast amongst the franchise, they're more of my problem kids, Also, every parent has a kid who you gotta like, why are you in detention? Why you got suspended? I'm a big, you whatever. You guys get it. DC is definitely that for me, but I will never lose love for them. I love
That's
them
right.
immensely. They are great to work with. They're
Hmm.
funny to me. They're beautiful people,
Yes.
and I can't wait to see what another season will look like with them. Um,
Hmm.
so no, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. So thank you all so much for tuning in and showing out this season. It means a lot to me. And then next week, Love and Marriage Huntsville is back. And if you thought DC Twitter,
They're already starting.
oh, I already know, but this is the thing. Love and Marriage DC Twitter craziness comes from the cast. Love and Marriage Huntsville Twitter craziness comes from the fans,
Other side of the screen. That's
the other
right.
side. So I got to prepare myself because, baby, the Huntsville fans, I got to prepare myself for that. But guess what? You will see Dustin recapping Huntsville.
Yeah.
And the good news is he'll be talking to the cast of Huntsville.
Yes.
So
Yes.
next Saturday, after the season premiere, Dustin will be talking to a Love and Marriage Huntsville cast member.
I can't wait.
And he has no idea who his first guest is going to be.
I don't mind going in blind. I ain't scared of no damn body. Furthermore, you know how we do over here when we talk about these shows, we keep it real. We acknowledge the good and the bad, but we make sure we acknowledge the good because these are all notable personalities, people with stories that are impactful, stories that are important, stories that are relatable, and we're damn sure gonna highlight that. So I'll talk to any or all of them. Bring them on. Bring them on. What did our girl Sutton say? Name them. Name them. Name them. I'm ready. And thank you for the opportunity. Thank you to the raindrops. I love I feel all the love I get from you all. And I'm happy to be a raindrop. I cannot wait to dig into Love and Marriage Huntsville. And shout out to the DC cast, everybody that I had the pleasure, okay, and I was fortunate enough to speak with. It was a great conversation. I'm glad that we were able to offer more insight to who these people are and what their story is. So it's been a really honor. It's been a real honor and a pleasure. I can't wait to dig into Huntsville, baby. It's
Oh,
on. It's on. It's on. And shout out to the audience. They're passionate about these Huntsville stories because these stories are incredible and we have grown to really love these characters. So that's what all that passion looks like. And it can get a little crazy, but that's because they love these characters. And if we remember that, then we can always let them have what, Carlos? The comment section. We can
have the
always
comment
let them have
section.
it.
Have
Yep.
it, baby.
Yep.
Have it.
That's what it's there for.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It ain't for me. It's
Yeah.
for
It's for y'all. That's it. Yeah.
have it.
See?
All
Yep.
right, Dustin, I love you, brother. Have a
Love you,
great
bro.
evening, and we will see you next Saturday.
Can't wait. Thank you, Carlos.